Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to go to university, I'm going to go to class to study medicine. So why don't you come along and come join me? So firstly, this video is going to represent my first week of uni. Now, this video has been really delayed such that it's almost week 9 of uni. So keep that in mind when you're watching, especially because this is pre-Ramadan and pre a lot of stuff. So I start off my day after praying Fajr, usually with exercise. Now, as you can see in this video, I'm doing a couple of exercises and recording it, but I work out for about 45 minutes, take a shower and get ready. Now, depending on the day, if it's a long day, I may opt to make lunch, such as chicken tendies right here, and bring them with me. Now, when it comes to my breakfast, I usually have something light, like cereal, and usually I have Nutri-Grain because Nutri-Grain has protein, and that's kind of what I'm aiming for, a lot of protein in my diet. And just before I go to uni sometimes, I may opt to do some additional study or preparation. So just before I go to uni, I'm going to do some preparation for the class. So essentially what we're going to do is every week we have a case assigned to us and we get symptoms, presentations, blah blah blah, but you work as a group to kind of figure out the diagnosis. Of course, you don't know much in terms of biochemistry and medicinal stuff, but it's just getting into a habit of diagnosis. So today we're going to go over this week's case. When we go to class, I'm going to discuss what we thought the diagnosis was, the mechanism, blah blah blah. And I'm also going to do pre-reading for next week's case because we're going to discuss that as well after our presentation. But essentially what it is, you get like a case. So for here we have a Mr. Ben Weasley who comes in and, you know, this is his age, male, chest pain. This is a profile, you know, what he does. And it gives basically what he's coming in with as an audio file. You listen to that, blah, blah, blah. And then you take further histories and you keep going down the case. And then at a certain point, you kind of note down what you think it is. Then you continue and see after the doctor did the examinations, what they found, or investigations, blood test, etc. And so the idea is just to kind of get into that habit. So now here's a montage of me looking through the readings, like the pre-readings. It will give extra and additional information on different conditions. And then also I'm looking through the case, and based on the readings and the knowledge that we have, which is very little at this point, what the diagnosis or the pathophysiology and the mechanism of the presentation of the symptoms currently are. So right now I'm just noting things down in a workbook to bring to class and to discuss further. Uni, little bit late, but doesn't matter, should be fine. You can see me all good. I don't know how the camera quality is. I'll see that later. But today, first day of uni, and can't wait to see what it has in store. But let me just get on this highway real quick. Alright, we're on the highway, and we got a little bit of a commute to uni. Let's hope we make it in time. We should be fine, doesn't matter. This is probably my favorite part of the day. Really love riding a motorcycle in the open air, especially when it comes to going to uni, because the parking's easy, the navigating traffic's way easier because you can lane split legally here. أحلامنا في تعال نلنا العلا والسنا من قبل خلق النوال يا من تحديتنا هلما أقبل تعال لا تنتظر ردنا لا رد إلا الفعال يا من تحديتنا هلما
تعال لا تنتظر ردنا لا رد إلا الفعال.
When I'm commuting, I listen to Surat al-Mu'min or Surat al-Anbiya, the recitation by Yasir al-Dosri, mainly because I really like listening to recitation. And usually by the time the recitation finishes, I'm usually at uni. Otherwise, I may opt to do something like watch a lecture or any other Islamic video.
آمالنا كالجبال أحلامنا في تعال نلنا العلا والسنا من قبل خلق النوال.
Okay, so I just have to go around, but this is the Batcave. Because it's a cave, it looks like a cave, and it looks like it could house bats.
ميداننا شاهد فكم حاسمنا النزال قبل الدخول به نجهز الاحتفال. ميداننا شاهد فكم حاسمنا النزال قبل الدخول به نجهز الاحتفال. نجهز الاحتفال. آمالنا كالجبال أحلامنا في تعال نلنا العلا والسنا من قبل خلق النوال.
Alright, now here, let's go ahead and lock the bike. 8 o'clock. That's when I was supposed to get here, so just on time.
So as stated earlier, this was kind of recorded of the first week or two. And so as you see here, I'm entering different parts of the uni. And this is like a lecture that we kind of had to watch as an introductory lecture. This is the medical building where we do all our classes, which is really cool. So this is a mechanism that we have to make every week for our case that links all the different presentations to possible diseases and how that works and links together. So we finished the first session, which is discussing this week's case, going through it, the pathophysiology and all of that, the mechanism. Now I'm going to meet up with my group to do next week's case and to start on that. But before then, I'm going to take a quick Juma break. And then we'll head back. So, came back home from Juma, had a bit of lunch, and now I've rested a little bit, but we still have some more stuff to do for today. Basically what we have to do is, after Friday, when we finish our case, we have to finish up a case formulation. So what a case formulation is just a kind of document we have to make that kind of summarizes the whole case. So essentially, you've got the diagnostic summary, where we said Ben Weasley, age 49, went to ED, investigations, examinations, and it's most concurrent with DOMS, which is delayed onset of muscle soreness. He was discharged home with pain management strategies and a follow-up with his GP. And so we have the history, which is, the chest pain gradually got worse, especially when he's moving his arms upward, which supports, musculoskeletal system. Also a sharp localized pain. It doesn't radiate, because usually with a heart attack, it kind of radiates sometimes to the jaw or to the arm. And since that wasn't the case, so, looking likely at a heart attack, by the same time, you would still do an ECG and check the heart rhythms. And since it was normal in the investigations, it's not a cardiovascular organ. And then of course you do other tests, tenderness too, when you touch it, and palpation of the region. And so basically, just summarize what you need to do, and then you submit it. And then once you submit it, you get feedback, and that's done. So usually on a Friday, once I come home, I just need to submit that, because I've done all my lectures throughout the week. So after I've done all that, there's one more thing I usually do every day, and that is I set aside some time to do, of course, some Islamic studies. And so what I've got here is a very, very nice program that, if you guys know Sheikh Asim al-Hakim, he is a renowned imam and person of knowledge, and he's teamed up with some other people to make this really nice academy, which is just basically an online course where you've got a couple of subjects. You've got Aqidah, Tafsir, Hadith, Sirah, Fiqh, and you can do Arabic as well, which is optional. But you go through a couple lectures every day, and you go through them, and it's really manageable to fit in with uni study as well as work or anything, because overall it takes about an hour a day to go through all the lectures. And at the end of the week, essentially what you have is like you have a weekly assessment, which is a small quiz that makes up part of your total grade. And this goes on for 2 years. And so just slowly over 2 years, you're acquiring knowledge of these 6 subjects, which is kind of fundamental knowledge for the Muslim person. And so I just make sure to set some time every day to do that. And so here's a compilation of me going through the 3 lectures that I needed to do today. And I also recorded this really funny moment from the Sheikh himself. And so here it is.
And the 5th reason for obligating ghusl is death. But hey, I'm dead. How can I be obliged? No, the obligation is not on you as a deceased, rather on the living.
And lastly, at the end of the day, I usually have a tutoring class where I usually go over high school subjects like chemistry, sometimes math as well, or I tutor for the GAMSAT, which is the Australian Medical Entrance Exam. And that's what I'm doing in this video here. And that's about it for the day. That's usually how Friday goes, where we culminate and discuss the case that we've been studying throughout the week. Now, I know I took a long time to get this out, completely on me, but I'm going to try and make the next videos come out a lot quicker. So if you guys did enjoy this, leave a like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. And thank you so much for watching. And inshallah, I'll see you in the next one. Assalamu alaikum.